Have you ever met someone so bold, so defiant, that the world couldn't ignore them? Someone who challenged kings, philosophers, and even the way people lived their lives? This is the story of Diogenes, the Cynic philosopher who lived in a barrel, rejected society's rules, and redefined freedom. By the end of this video, you'll see life differently, and maybe question everything you've been told. Diogenes was born in Sinope, an ancient Greek city, and from the start, he refused to follow the ordinary path. When the people of Sinope exiled him, he didn't complain. Instead, he told them, "And I condemn you to remain in this city." That was just the beginning of his defiance. He was sold as a slave, and when asked what kind of work he could do, he boldly replied, "To be a master." Even Plato, who defined humans as featherless bipeds, was mocked by Diogenes. Entering a lecture with a plucked chicken, Diogenes exclaimed, "Behold, a man!" His humor, audacity, and wisdom were inseparable. Diogenes' life was a constant lesson in simplicity, self-control, and rebellion against social norms. He walked barefoot in snow, rolled in hot sand during summer, all to toughen himself against discomfort. When asked why, he said, "I am like a choir conductor who must sing louder than the others to hit the right note." He provoked people to think. Standing in front of a brothel, he shouted, "A beautiful prostitute is like poisoned honey." The men threw him coins to stop him. Eventually, he used the money to enter the brothel, showing that teaching wisdom required persistence and creativity. He also taught through generosity. When asked why he begged, he replied simply, "Generosity." He made people reflect on their own lives by doing what others wouldn't dare. Diogenes had a unique relationship with Plato. Plato disapproved of his street-like behavior, but Diogenes would respond, "By the gods, you are right, but at least I have sunk my teeth into philosophy." He constantly exposed hypocrisy. Once, when foreigners asked him to show them the greatest philosopher, referring to Plato, Diogenes led them to an empty space and said, "I present to you the great philosopher." Diogenes reminded the world that wisdom isn't found in books or appearances, but in living authentically. One of his disciples even asked for a book, and Diogenes said, "Surely you would not paint figs instead of real figs, yet you overlook the true practice of wisdom." Diogenes embraced poverty by choice. He believed money limited freedom. He famously said, "Avoid all the good things in life, because money costs too much. A rich man is much poorer than a poor man, for poverty is the only thing money cannot buy." When a child drank water with his hands, Diogenes threw away his cup, realizing, "A child has surpassed me in simplicity." He rejected societal luxuries and taught that freedom is found in simplicity, a lesson we often overlook in the modern world. Diogenes had a sharp sense of humor and used it to teach. He would whistle and dance in public to grab attention when people ignored wisdom, saying, "You rush to watch a foolish spectacle but ignore knowledge." He challenged marriage, love, and societal expectations, telling a young man, "Love is a luxury no one can afford. Freedom cannot exist if you have a wife and children. Life is terrible not because of living, but living in chains." He walked backward in the agora, mocking the crowd, asking, "You live your entire lives upside down. Can you change your way of living as easily as this?" Perhaps his most famous act was walking through Athens with a lit lantern in daylight, searching for an honest man. Everyone laughed, but he was making a profound point. Honesty and virtue are rarer than gold, and most people live blind to it. His acts weren't just rebellion, they were lessons. Every absurd, shocking, or humorous act was designed to make people question themselves, their society, and their values. Diogenes' life is a call to authenticity, courage, and simplicity. He defied social norms, exposed hypocrisy, and lived freely in a world obsessed with appearances and wealth. So what can we learn today? Question what society tells you, embrace simplicity, seek freedom in your choices, and don't be afraid to live authentically. Diogenes' spirit challenges us to live boldly, think critically, and laugh at the absurdity of life. Remember him not just as the man in the barrel, but as a philosopher who dared to live truthfully. May his courage inspire you to question, rebel, and find your own path in life. Subscribe now. Otherwise, you may not be able to find me again. Thank you.